The little girl from the mountain area I sponsored carried a basket of buckwheat noodles to thank me. Just as I was about to open the door, a row of bullet comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. Miss, don't let her in. Your fiancé will fall in love with her at first sight. He'll force you to break off the engagement, drive you away from home, and only regret it 7 years later. My hand, suspended in midair, froze. I looked at Bella standing before me, her pants faded from washing. While the bullet comments claimed she was the female lead of this sweet romance novel, meanwhile, Christian in my room was popping open champagne. The male lead. We grew up together, made a marriage pact, and were seen as a perfect match in everyone's eyes. But the situation changed with Bella's arrival. The barrage of comments was buzzing with opinions. The male lead initially looked down on the female lead but couldn't resist his curiosity, was drawn to her, and even considered breaking off his engagement with the young lady. To be honest, I didn't really care about the engagement with Christian. It was just a business alliance. If Christian left, there would always be someone else. The female lead will become the male lead's delicate little wife, drop out of school to get married, and have 2 kids in 3 years. Unfortunately, married life marks the beginning of her suffering. The moment I saw the words, drop out, I couldn't read any further. Frowning, I spoke up. Bella, are you really giving up on college, on grad school? Did I support you all these years for nothing? Bella was stunned. The barrage of comments fell silent for 3 seconds. These 3 rapid-fire questions from the young lady sound just like my mom. Same world, same mom. Bella is a girl I met during my teaching volunteer program. At 17, she suffers from malnutrition and looks as thin as a bean sprout. The first time we met, she was peeking through the back door of the classroom in ill-fitting clothes. When caught, she timidly asked me what the poem I had just taught meant. I'm not short of money, but I see no need to support someone who has given up on themselves. Finally understanding my words, Bella clenched her hands in frustration. I'll go. I'm on winter vacation. This year's freshly harvested buckwheat noodles, all natural. I'll bring you some. I have to go to school. Don't be angry. Remembering the girl who used to read by the light of a kerosene lamp, my heart softened. Come in. Bella carried the basket of buckwheat noodles on her back and cautiously peeked inside. Oh no, the male and female leads are still going to meet. Hearing the noise, Christian glanced over curiously, then frowned with his handsome brows. Kathy, where did you meet this country bumpkin? The footsteps behind me stopped. Bella hesitated at the entrance, clutching the hem of her clothes, as expected. I didn't like her much at first glance, but later, I'd end up eating my words. Ignoring the net friend's single-syllable rhymes in my bullet comment, I casually picked up a throw pillow and tossed it at him. Shut up, how dare you talk nonsense about my people? Bella, come here. The little girl didn't move. She carefully unloaded the basket, placed it by the door, and gave me a shy smile. Sister Kathy, my shoes are dirty so I won't come in. I'll leave the things here and go home to study. Christian let out a mocking laugh. Who still does local specialties these days? My expression darkened. Come here, I won't say it again. Bella's family of 8 lived in a single room, unable to afford even 2 lamps. The money earned from farming was all spent on her brother's education. When she returned home on break, she had to serve the crown prince, leaving no opportunity for her own studies. Sit here, I'll watch you study. Then she beckoned to Christian, who wore a look of disdain. Come over here and tutor her too. I gave the Bella's family some money and arranged for Bella's school transfer. The education in the village was too poor. They even wanted her to get married right after middle school. No way, the girl I'm sponsoring must not only attend high school and university, but also go to a good school. Bella's foundation was weak, and every time she mustered the courage to ask a question, Christian would mock her. The comments said that the young master initially looked down on her, but gradually was moved by her resilience, even secretly tutoring Bella behind my back. Why do it secretly? If he's going to tutor her eventually, why not start now? High school time is precious. It waits for no one. There's no time to waste on their back and forth. Christian sat dazed on the sofa, earnestly asking, who am I, where am I, and why am I explaining problems to a country bumpkin? I smiled. You are the kind and brilliant young master Christian, born with the mission to help the weak. Christian's face twisted in agony. I pulled out a key. My brother just bought a new car, North America limited edition. Teach her about Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction, and I'll let you drive it. Christian's eyes lit up. Deal. I had the butler tie the car key to a string and hang it on the Christmas tree in the center of the reception hall, where Christian could see it at a glance. Bella's voice was as faint as a mosquito's. She was too shy to ask for advice, but she knew this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Although Christian wasn't the most reliable person, he did score 677 points in last year's college entrance exam. Having his guidance was far more useful than her teacher in the village. Slowly, Christian grew a bit impatient. Do you only know how to take notes? Do you understand everything I just asked? Bella clenched her hand holding the pen, then let go. I'll go back and read it slowly, afraid this might be her only chance. She desperately wanted to ask about everything she didn't understand or couldn't do normally, jot it down, and ponder it slowly at home. Christian spoke too fast for her to keep up, and she didn't dare to say anything. After a long silence, Christian seemed to realize his attitude was somewhat poor, but couldn't bring himself to admit it. All right. I lifted my gaze from the research report on the computer screen. Bella, I'll arrange for you to board at school. From now on, you'll come here every weekend for tutoring. Might as well make use of it. The power of the plot is truly remarkable. Although Christian kept complaining about the high school tutoring sessions, I could clearly see the gradual change in the way he looked at Bella. The high school workload was intense, and since Christian wasn't a professional teacher, I switched Bella to a full-time tutor after a few summer sessions. During those days, Christian always seemed to have something on his mind when he saw me, but he hesitated to speak. Through the barrage comments, I realized Christian thought I was jealous and wanted to separate the two of them. Me, poor young lady. Her fiancé is about to change his heart, and the new love interest is the country bumpkin she sponsored. The young lady is so pitiful. How can she bear this after more than a decade of childhood sweetheart affection? I was unwrapping birthday gifts when these bullet comments popped up. My parents' business grew bigger and stronger, and since childhood, I've been making friends with their various business partners. Childhood friends ABC. I quickly glanced at them. There were so many gifts that even a woven bag couldn't hold them all. Childhood friends aren't anything special. Christian is special because we entered into a marriage contract very early on. This is not just about the two of us, but also about both families. Although Christian usually acts carefree, he at least knows how to handle important matters properly. Even if he wanted to break off the engagement, there are 100 proper ways to resolve it. I don't understand what they did later that pushed me to the point of turning against them. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. The crucial plot point is arriving. The bullet comments say we're about to reach the first major plot twist, the beach volleyball scene. That was the first time Christian stood up for Bella openly, even at the cost of making me lose face. The school organized a bonfire party at a beach 2 hours away from the city. Christian, a bunch of friends, and I all went, leaving no one at home to look after the kids, so we decided to bring Bella along. Christian, is this the sister you've been tutoring? She looks so well behaved. With Christian tutoring her, she'll definitely get into University A with you next year. Christian shook his sunglasses with a look of disdain. She's so dumb. The male lead Sundara, verbally dismissive but can't take his eyes off the female lead. He's already fallen for Bella, hasn't he? What about my young mistress then? The young lady is served cold. I plan to talk to Christian after the event ends. If he really likes Bella, we'll find a way to call off the engagement. But there's one condition. Before Bella's college entrance exams, he must not affect her studies. However, friends don't see it that way. There's always someone who excels at stirring up trouble and fanning the flames. Hey, maybe it's better not to go to University A. Otherwise Christian, with both girls at the same school, you wouldn't be able to handle it. The speaker laughed suggestively, deliberately lowering their voice. Christian, take it easy. Be careful the little girl doesn't get bullied by Kathy. Girl-on-girl bullying can be terrifying. Christian seemed lost in thought. There was still some time before evening, so everyone decided to play beach volleyball. Come on, Bella, join us for a game. Someone called out, seeing she was with me. Bella came over, her face flushed. Spread your arms and use this part to catch the ball. If you can't reach it, just let it go. Don't hurt yourself. I gave a few instructions, and everyone dispersed to prepare. There were many people at the gathering, so I couldn't keep an eye on her the whole time. The main opponent was Sarah. The Smith family was currently bidding against my parents, and she came at me hard, really firing up my competitive spirit. After 3 consecutive smashes, Kathy, you're amazing, came the cheers from the audience. Only you could do that. that was so satisfying to watch. I smiled and was about to say something when I noticed a calculating glint flash in Sarah's eyes. Suddenly, she raised her hand and smashed the ball hard toward my right rear. That was Bella's direction. Hey, watch out. The young girl frantically raised her hand, only to see a figure suddenly leap up and pull Bella into their arms. The volleyball hit Christian's shoulder with a loud thud, and he grunted in pain but didn't let go. The crowd was stunned. My childhood friends winked at me teasingly. I sighed, pretending not to notice, and walked over to ask, "Are you okay? Everything all right?" Before Bella could answer, Christian exploded. "Kathy, why did you have to make Bella play volleyball with you? She's not like the rest of you. What if she couldn't catch the ball? What if she got hurt?" The little girl trembled in fear in his arms, her face pale, struggling desperately to break free. After all, Christian is still my nominal fiancé. Let her go first. Christian wore an expression that said, "I knew it," and held her even tighter. "Kathy, are you serious? Competing with a little girl over men?" I was so angry I almost laughed. Competing over men. He learned a new term and dares to misuse it everywhere. Without even checking if his waterlogged brain understands what it actually means, I calmly said, "Why is Bella different from us? With 2 arms and 2 legs, I can fight, so why can't she?" The bullet comments said that in the future, Bella would become Christian's daughter Vine, his canary, but the Bella I first knew was clearly a resilient and brave girl. When the volleyball came flying at her, she was so scared, yet she still raised her hands to try to catch it. Christian pulled her into his arms, which also shattered the courage she had mustered with great effort. The environment and public opinion have a tremendous impact on shaping minors. Christian grew somewhat impatient. "Do you have to compare yourself to her? What's the point of you girls constantly comparing yourselves to each other?" He just doesn't get it, insists on believing that I'm jealous over him and Bella. So, I raised my hand to signal my childhood friend to pass me the volleyball, then pointed at Christian. "Come on, forget the girls, you go over there, I'll play with you, Christian." That scrawny weakling, I crushed him 9-1 in 10 serves. His face was darker than a cast iron pot. Bella watched me from the sidelines with starry eyes and gave me a heart sign. Christian's face grew even darker. "Bella, a beginner at volleyball, just scored 2 points for our team. Christian, you can't compete with her, nor can you compete with me. What gives you the right to coach us in basketball? Still playing the competition game?" I scoffed and reached out my hand to Bella. "I'll teach you. Want to come?" Bella jumped up eagerly, grabbed my hand, and nodded like a pecking chick. "Yes, yes, yes." People instinctively tend to worship strength, but it's okay, I am the strength. During the break, Bella handed me water, her eyes still sparkling with excitement. "Kathy, you're amazing, even stronger than the guys." I glanced at her. Is a guy some kind of Mount Everest? Someone like him? I tilted my chin toward the dejected Christian. "Do you think being better than him proves you're good at volleyball?" Bella looked at Christian, then at me, and shook her head. She whispered, "You, Sarah, and the other sisters just now, all play better than Christian." In this world, many things have universal standards and objective measurements, yet there are always those who define ability by gender. Bella grew up in a family that favored sons over daughters, where girls were considered inferior to boys. This was the education she received from childhood, so she didn't dare to resist Christian, and even subconsciously believed that in my relationship with Christian, the man must have the upper hand. If I want to lead her out, it can't just be her body that walks away. Her mind must follow too. After the beach volleyball match, Bella became much bolder around me. She would act coquettish, crack jokes, and even came to me with questions she couldn't solve. "What about the tutor I hired for you?" Bella's eyes wandered as she said the teacher had taken the day off. "Did they take yesterday off too?" She hung her head in silence. Actually, I knew Christian was still secretly offering to tutor her, but Bella, worried I'd be upset, kept refusing. Although Christian is a skinny guy, I pondered my words. He's quite good at studying. His grades are better than mine. I admitted this quite frankly. Everyone has different talents and bears different pressures. Christian, as the only child in his family, could grow up as he pleased. If he was good at studying, he would study, but I was different. With an older brother and cousins, I had to fight and compete early on to avoid becoming just a decorative figure in the family, because if I slacked off and decided to be a naive, privileged girl, my family would never consider giving me any real power. "You have brothers." I grew up hearing this phrase, but first and foremost, I am my own person. People always ask me why I compete with my brothers. It's quite strange. Why doesn't anyone ask them why they're competing with their younger sister? I told Bella, if Christian has good study methods, you can learn from him without worrying about me. But you should also remember, your top priority right now is the college entrance exam. If he makes any inappropriate moves beyond studying, don't hesitate to refuse. I'll have your back. Women's independence doesn't mean going it alone. When my dad started out, he still relied on the support of my grandfather and aunt. Bella nodded blankly, then shook her head. Sister Kathy, the tutor, and Christian, they all like to say I'm stupid. I prefer it when you teach me. A comment floated across the screen. Silly female lead. The male lead calls you a little dummy because he likes you. Don't you think that sounds so affectionate? Even though you're a bit clueless and don't understand anything, I still can't help but be drawn to you. I frowned. Bella, since transferring schools 4 months ago, you've risen from over 700th in your grade to the top 300. This shows the amount of knowledge you absorb per unit of time far exceeds that of your average classmates, proving you're very intelligent. Your previous low grades were because you had little effective time invested in studying. And your home environment didn't provide the right conditions for learning. Both your tutor and Christian are aware of these 2 points. When they called you stupid, it wasn't based on objective facts but rather venting their own arrogance and emotions. I called the housekeeper and asked her to find Bella a new tutor. The job interview requires patience and a calm personality, preferably a female candidate. If you encounter unreasonable accusations, it means the other person has issues. Just find someone else to interact with. The young lady is so cool. Don't be brainwashed by idle dramas. Everyone is the same. How can you call others stupid or foolish, being scolded and still finding it sweet? Now that's what I call a messed up brain. Love is about respect and admiration. If the male lead can't even treat the female lead as an equal, is it really love? I patted Bella's head. Be more confident. The girl I've set my sights on can't be bad. Even eavesdropping outside the classroom, she learns better than her own younger brother. Bella isn't stupid at all. She's just a bit slow, but she'll catch up soon enough. Which problem don't you understand? Show it to me, let me take a look. Both families want us to get engaged as soon as possible to solidify our project collaboration in Great Bay. I'm a bit annoyed and hope Christian will make a mess soon. He is indeed very quick. I was on the balcony reviewing reports when Christian came to deliver Bella's birthday gift. He somehow got his hands on a crystal ball that looked just like the $30 ones from convenience stores, but after a closer look, I realized it was a pink quartz recently auctioned off the southern coast of the Atlantic. Xiaoxue, didn't you say you always envied your brother for having a crystal ball? Now you have one too. Bella and her brother's birthdays are just 5 days apart. In the year they graduated from elementary school, crystal balls were all the rage, and every girl in class received one as a gift. She mustered up the courage to save half the money and begged her mom to lend her the other half. Mom agreed, and on the birthday, there was indeed a brand new crystal ball with its packaging sitting at home. But, you're the older sister, be more understanding. You can have it after your brother gets tired of it. Hey, why are you crying? Girls are so petty. It's not like this thing will break. What's wrong with letting your brother have it first? Such incidents happened to Bella countless times as she grew up. The female lead had a tough childhood too, but thankfully she met the male lead who healed her. Christian, buy it for her. Buy 5, 10, countless crystal balls. I glanced at the barrage of comments. Wait, buying 10 crystal balls. Is this wholesale? Bella sprang to her feet, waving her hands. No, I can't accept your gifts. Christian's face darkened as he tossed the gift onto the coffee table. Just take it when I give it to you. Stop the nonsense. The old Bella would have been intimidated by Christian, meekly accepting it without a word, but this time, I saw Bella take a deep breath, pick up the crystal ball, and shove it back into Christian's arms. I really don't want it. Christian, I already have a crystal ball. I'm not lying. Look, she pointed to the desk, where a beautiful plastic crystal ball sat. Blue in color, with the little prince and flower petals floating inside. Christian's face fell. How much did this cost? It looks so cheap. Bella held the blue crystal ball in her arms and answered him very seriously. 30, I bargained with the boss and got it for 27, using my scholarship from this semester's final exams. Christian, this crystal ball from the convenience store is exactly what I wanted. I think it's especially beautiful, especially lovely. I was there the day we went to buy the crystal ball. originally intending to reward Bella with a gift. She did well in her final exams and moved up over 100 places in the rankings, but Bella refused to go to any mall and insisted on going to the convenience store next to the elementary school. After carefully selecting, she chose this blue crystal ball. She wouldn't even let me pay for it. Sister Kathy, it's because you let me come to the city to study that I had the chance to get a scholarship. This is the best gift 17-year-old Bella has ever received. As for this, she shook the crystal ball in her hand. It was a gift from my 17-year-old self to 12-year-old Bella. As her thoughts returned to the present, she happened to see Bella softly apologizing and bowing to Christian. Thank you, Christian, for tutoring me. I have a new tutor now, you're Kathy's boyfriend, and she's going through a tough time. Please stay by her side more. Did Kathy teach you to say that? Why is this man's thought process always so bizarre? Without waiting for Bella's reply, he strode to the balcony and snatched the report from my hands. What a psycho, Kathy. I want to call off the engagement. The engagement was arranged by our parents. I reminded him that breaking off the engagement wouldn't be easy, especially now with the Great Bay collaboration imminent. Both families are eager for us to hold the engagement ceremony as soon as possible, to reassure the public. But Christian clearly misunderstood. Don't use mom and dad to pressure me. I don't like you. He took a deep breath. Feelings can't be forced, Kathy. I nodded in agreement. Promise me one condition. And I'll cooperate with you to discuss calling off the engagement. What condition? I want to join the Great Bay Project. The leaders of this project are my brother and my uncle's son, and I don't even have the right to know about it. The Baker family intends to give Christian some experience by letting him join as well. Although Christian can't directly interfere with the selection of partners, he's not completely without options. Kathy, this is a tough one. He was surprised I'd make such a demand. I can get you any jewelry or car you want. I want this and nothing else. What's so special about jewelry anyway? Once we secure the Great Bay Project, I'll buy my own jewelry, just like Bella's crystal ball. Christian looked at me for a long time, then suddenly smiled with realization. Kathy, you're not trying to make me back off by pretending to agree to break off the engagement, are you? Me? I never thought you liked me so much. But feelings really can't be forced. There was actually a hint of smugness in Christian's eyes. I was dumbfounded. Shut up already. At my insistence, Christian convinced his parents to bring me into the project team. I seized this opportunity to firmly embed myself and my influence within the company, accumulating experience and connections day and night. As part of the deal, I would cooperate with him at the end of the project to propose a separation to the Baker and Collins families. Bella became increasingly engrossed in her studies, burning the midnight oil and wishing she could dive into the books. On a summer day filled with the sound of cicadas, the college entrance exams finally arrived. I canceled all my meetings to take her to the exam hall, giving her a big hug at the school gate. You've got this, don't be nervous. Watching the girl with her clear pencil case walk briskly, I finally relaxed and took a moment to check the live comments. The comments said, in the original plot, I funded her education but failed to pay timely attention to her mental state. Blind admiration for strength led her to see Christian as her eagle, much like a young animal chasing after a giant bird of prey. Under Christian's protection and affection, she sank deeper, spending her days plotting how to outmaneuver me and break off our engagement. The female lead going to the college entrance exam was pointless. She dropped out soon after starting university to marry Christian, then had 2 kids in 3 years, probably forgetting which way the university gates even faced. Not necessarily. In the original plot, Bella secretly dated Christian during her senior year of high school and neglected her studies, but the current Bella is different. She ranked in the top 50 in the placement exam. I ignored the speculations in the bullet comments. I believe in her. She won't let her hard work and efforts go to waste. Summer ended with the sound of thunderstorms and cicadas, as Bella received an admission letter from a prestigious 985 university. The sudden surge of bullet comments also reminded me that the next crucial plot point was about to arrive. Bella's parents and younger brother found their way to her university dormitory. The unruly parents made a scene outside Bella's dorm. Wailing loudly, their precious son had a fever during his high school entrance exam and missed the cutoff score by just 1 point, requiring a $30,000 sponsorship fee to attend. Bella, Mom really doesn't want to trouble you, but your grandpa just had surgery, and now your dad is sick. We simply can't come up with the money at home. Bella's father had a cerebral infarction and had just been discharged from emergency care. sitting on the floor gasping for breath. His hair had turned completely white, and the wrinkles on his face made him look over a decade older than before. We've raised you all these years. Even just the food and drink alone should be worth at least 200,000. Mom and Dad are getting old, but your younger brother is still young. He can't miss out on his education. When I arrived, I saw Christian draping his suit jacket over Bella and reaching into his pants pocket for his bank card. Miss, stop him quickly. It was because Christian paid those 200,000 for Bella that she agreed to marry him. Not long after the marriage, she got pregnant. The Baker family said studying computer science exposed Bella to radiation and didn't let her continue her education, directly withdrawing her from school. Indeed, fate never bestows gifts without reason. I quickly stepped forward and pressed Christian's hand down. Trying to dismiss Bella's family with a card would only bring her endless exploitation. Bella's face turned pale. Last year when I came to the city to study, you didn't give me a single penny. How could I possibly have 200,000 now? Bella's mother rolled her eyes. Didn't that young lady from a wealthy family take you in? A rich young lady wouldn't lack money. Just ask her for 200 or 300,000. Goodness, how shameless. Does the young lady's money just fall from the sky like the northwest wind? You can't give it to them, miss. This family is insatiable. In the original plot, they took Christian's 200,000 and kept asking for more money every now and then, until Bella couldn't pay it back at all and completely gave up on going back to school. 200,000 or 300,000 is indeed nothing to me, but the comments are right. I'm willing to sponsor Bella, but why should others greedily take my money? I said coldly. Does the school not have security? No dorm supervisors, just anyone can be let in. The dorm supervisor munching sunflower seeds in the back row muttered, their parents. Then could any middle-aged man claiming to be a parent just waltz in and out of the girls' dorm? Aren't you worried or scared living in a place like this? Looking around, the surrounding classmates began whispering among themselves after hearing my words. If they're parents, then are these two as well? I pointed at Bella's pudgy younger brother and Christian, who clearly bore no familial resemblance to them. This dorm is like a zoo. Anyone can just walk in without even buying a ticket. Students might not interfere in others' family matters, but when it comes to their own safety, they can't help but pay attention. The girls' dorm is their home. If any random man can enter freely, it poses a serious safety risk. Bella's younger brother leaned against the wall, eyeing me sideways. At the very least, we're Bella's family. And who are you? The dorm supervisor also frowned at me. Bella opened her mouth, her lips forming what was probably my sister, but I cut her off directly. I submitted applications in advance to both the college counselor and the dorm management center. The approval form should be on your desk right now. I'm here, in compliance, as Bella's visiting friend. If the college and dormitory management center have strict application and approval procedures, do the dormitory supervisors not follow them at all? I emphasized the word, compliance, with extra weight in my tone. Before coming, I had already prepared myself. If Bella's parents could come once, they could come a second time. We had to cut off this path for them. The dormitory supervisor still didn't believe me and went to check the approval form in the room with suspicion. When she returned, her attitude toward me did a complete 180-degree turn. The approval form must have included some personal agenda, telling her that the ornate Collins character on the dormitory building was Kathy Collins's. Collins, Miss Kathy, I'm so sorry, my eyesight is failing, and I didn't see the form. I'll call security right away. We can't just let any random person into the dormitory. Absolutely not, under no circumstances. With that, she began shooing them out. Before long, security arrived and detained Bella's parents, who were still making a scene outside the dormitory. Bella's obese younger brother was being dragged along, shouting as he went, Sis, are you really letting them drive Mom and Dad away? How can you be so heartless? You're nothing but an ungrateful wretch. His mother was also wailing, Bella, your father still needs surgery, and my eyes are nearly worn out from crying. Are you really going to abandon us to our fate? The security guards were escorting someone out. I turned to look back. Bella hung her head quietly without speaking. Just like when I went to her house years ago and offered to sponsor her. Her eyes were just as empty then. Bella, Christian was dressed respectably and didn't make a scene. The dorm supervisor had already kicked him out of the building and couldn't very well detain him further. He pulled out the bank card he had been trying to retrieve from his pants pocket and waved it. I can help you. take this money anytime, I'll wait for your call. I sat with Bella in the coffee shop, lost in thought. She looked outside as a layer of condensation formed on the glass window. After a long while, the sound of a coffee cup clinking against a porcelain plate broke the silence. She set down her cup and spoke. Kathy, I won't give you 200,000, I said bluntly. She fell silent. Favoritism is a poisonous seed. Bella's parents gave 95% of their love to their son, but still left her with 5%. Her father's graying hair, her mother's frail body. While she sat in a bright and clean classroom attending lessons, I can understand her guilt and struggle, but I can lend you the money for your father's surgery, and you can work for me to pay it back after you graduate. The girl suddenly raised her head, her eyes sparkling as she looked at me. Go to the hospital and calculate the exact cost. I won't charge any interest on this money, but you must make sure it's used to save a life. Seeing the girl still standing there dumbfounded, I pretended to be a little displeased. Or do you want to go ask Christian for the 200,000 outright? That's fine too, I won't stop you. After all, it's the female lead's own life. I can only offer advice, not make choices for her. No, Bella shook her head frantically, her hands waving so fast they could generate electricity. I can't just take Christian's money for no reason, and I can't take yours either. Thank you, Kathy. Bella stood up and bowed to me, her sudden movement nearly knocking over the coffee cup. All right, if everything's fine, sign the offer and the IOU. Take a look. I handed her a letter of employment intent. Bella pursed her lips. Aunt Kathy, I'm only a freshman. What if I'm not capable enough to join your company? That's for me to worry about. You just focus on yourself. LOL. Of course, I'd already noticed from the bullet comments. Bella has an extraordinary talent for industry insight. It's just that her life as a housewife has buried it. To establish myself, I naturally need my own trusted allies and team. Bella asked me while signing, by the way, Sister Kathy, how did you manage to get the dormitory entry and exit approval form? I heard from others that the dormitory management center and the student affairs office teachers are particularly difficult to deal with. I took a sip of coffee. Oh, that dormitory building you're in, I donated it. Christian clutched the bank card in his hand, still waiting for Kathy to come begging to him. Little did he expect that his wife had been intercepted by me. Furious, he stormed over. Kathy, our engagement has already been called off. Why are you still harassing me? I pointed to the ground with amusement. If I remember correctly, this is my office, so who's really bothering whom? This man's confidence always comes out of nowhere. If the old Kathy still needed a marriage alliance to secure her position, after the outstanding performance in the Dasha Bay project, both my father and grandfather have begun to reassess my status. Vases are the ones who need to be pushed out as marriage alliance princesses. Never heard of a crown prince with inheritance rights being sent out for political marriages. I finally secured an equal opportunity to compete. Christian sat on the couch angrily scolding me. Why do you have to block me from pursuing Bella? What reason could there be besides jealousy? I can't take it anymore. The male lead is so confident, inexplicably confident. Our young lady has never liked him at all. Suddenly I think the male lead should just stay single. He doesn't understand the young lady, nor does he understand Bella. He's always lived in his own world. I tapped the desk with my pen. Christian, there are 2 invitation letters on the table. This one is an invitation to a dinner party from the head of the Kennedy family in the west of the city, and the other is from the second son of the Adams family, asking me for tea. Christian frowned. What do you mean? I leaned back comfortably in my office chair. These 2 are the decision makers of the family. Have they invited you? Unfortunately, the only son of the Baker family was not suited for business. Even with the backing of the powerful Baker family, he still held little influence. Christian remained silent, so I continued speaking. I'm very busy and my time is valuable. There's absolutely no reason to waste it on you. Perhaps I was too blunt. Christian didn't respond for a long while. I sighed and continued. Thinking you can buy Bella for 200,000. How is that any different from her parents? Have you considered the differences in your family backgrounds? Would your family and friends accept her? You know nothing about her dreams for the future or the struggles she's facing now. Even if you got together, how long would it last? In the original plot, in the 7th year of Bella's marriage to Christian, they grew tired of each other. Coincidentally, I returned to China in the 7th year after completing the expansion of the overseas branch. One was the dazzling ex-fiancé of the Collins family's successor. The other a housewife with only a high school diploma and a bunch of parasitic relatives. He regretted it. The bullet comments also echoed my point. Yeah, the male lead never considered these real-life issues. Could he really protect Bella? His family wouldn't even let Bella attend college. And that was a computer science major in the early 2000s. Bella was talented and independent. She might have achieved financial freedom on her own, compared to Bella's entire life. That 200,000 is really insignificant. I never intended to be the one to break up a happy couple, but the seeds of Christian and Bella's future tragedy were sown in his initial attitude toward her. If he didn't change his way of pursuing Bella or reflect on his own issues, the outcome simply couldn't be altered. Moreover, I hope the young woman I sponsored can always have the courage and freedom to make her own choices. After graduation, Bella became a research expert at my overseas branch. She is intelligent, insightful, and her fluent English is truly impressive. The money I lent her back then, Bella paid it all off through her part-time jobs in college, but she still insisted on not taking her first year's salary. Sister Kathy, you've given me too much. When I was swamped with work back home, it was her who steadied the restless hearts overseas on my behalf, she said. President Collins never gave up on her when she was penniless, backward in thinking, and burdened with troubles. And surely wouldn't give up on everyone overseas either. After the incident, even my grandfather praised me, saying I had trained myself an excellent deputy. She is loyal, intelligent, capable, and clear-headed, even pursuing a PhD during the company's stable development period. In recent years, Collins Corporation's growth has been meteoric, catching the first wave of internet technology and being the first to expand into overseas markets. The industry says none of this would have been possible without a bold and decisive heiress like Kathy. I never hesitate to discover and nurture talent, nor do I fear failure, because I know that as a female successor, if I could only maintain the status quo, I would never have earned this position in the first place. Instead, my older brother gradually retreated behind the scenes. He was gentle and refined, not adept at competition or conflict. My parents never again considered arranging my marriage. Compared to making arrangements, they trusted more in my ability to handle such matters on my own. At my brother's wedding, Bella helped me manage the affairs, and everything was handled in an orderly manner. She wore a light-colored suit, neat and fresh, with a smile that was gentle and harmless. Christian accompanied Christian's mother to celebrate, and Christian's mother couldn't stop praising Bella as she looked at her. This is the little girl you used to tutor, right? She's all grown up now. I heard she's a PhD from Country M and has an impressive career. Bella smiled faintly and thanked her. Am I seeing this right? Isn't this the same mother-in-law from the original plot who was always nitpicking Bella? Bella is now the director of the European and American regions, a research and development expert, and has long since severed ties with her birth family. By any measure, she's an outstanding young woman. I watched the heated discussion scroll by without comment. Christian and his parents certainly had their issues too. They looked down on Bella back then and never truly accepted her, but that's just how the world is. You can't change others, you can only change yourself. When she stands before everyone with a brand new appearance, her abilities and status will silence the critics. Ding-ling-ling, Bella's phone rang. Excuse me, I need to take this call. I exchanged casual pleasantries with the Baker family, but now the Baker family is far from keeping up with the Collins family's pace. Christian's mother regretfully remarked that missing out on having me as her daughter-in-law back then was truly a great loss. So you see, they just want someone more valuable and useful. It's not worth the emotional toll. I simply smiled without speaking, when Bella returned after hanging up the phone. I asked if she had something urgent to attend to and could go ahead. Bella shook her head with a smile and leaned in to whisper, "It's a child I've been sponsoring. They ranked first in the entire township in their final exams and came to share the good news with me." Her smile was warm, with no trace of the timidity and inferiority that once marked her face. Bella isn't a rose I cultivated, but rather a tree I helped water. Kindness is being passed on, and I sincerely hope that in the future she can also sponsor a second, third Bella, breaking free from the shackles imposed by the storyline and society. Live boldly as your true self. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, let's continue to see another similar story. Mom gave all 4 family properties to my younger brother, but gave me her love, so after I started working, I bought her a $5.99 necklace, but spent $2,500 on my cat. She said I was heartless, pointing at the 4 property deeds with an innocent face. I said, Mom, though my money went to the cat, I gave all my love to you. When we were kids, our parents would buy cakes, one for me and one for my brother, toys, one for each of us. They never favored one over the other. I've always been grateful to grow up in a fair household, where my parents treated my brother and me equally. But later, when they bought a new house, they put it under my brother's name, Song Jiahao, and that year, he was still in middle school. Mom said, in this society, it's okay for a girl not to have a house, but a boy without one can't get a wife. Our family's financial situation is limited. If your parents had the money to buy a second house, they would give you one too. I was depressed for several days before finally convincing myself to accept it. They don't love me any less. They just don't have the money. During college, my mom tearfully told me about our family's financial struggles, so I worked hard to earn scholarships and took on part-time jobs to help ease their burden. Yet during those same years, they bought a second and then a third apartment, both registered under my brother's name. Mom explained, society places higher demands and greater pressure on boys. Having extra properties is just security for him. You're a girl, you'll have it much easier. At this moment, I recalled a term I often see online, son preference, yet before this, I had never associated it with my own family. I dug up her past words, trying to prove she was lying. You clearly said the family would buy me one if we could afford it, but now Song Jiahao already has 3, just admit you're playing favorites. But Mom exploded, since you were little, when have we ever treated you unfairly? As a child, did you ever have fewer clothes, snacks, or fruits than your brother? You're a girl, you needed dresses, hair clips, and we spent no less, if not more, on you. If we were really biased, would we have supported you through college? Go out and see how many families don't even let their daughters attend school. Who else treats their children as fairly as we do? Song Jiahao also chimed in, fueling the fire. Sis, stop upsetting Mom. Parents can give their money to whoever they want. You should learn to be grateful. They raised us, and instead of being filial, you're eyeing their property. The mother and son tag-teamed, their moral high ground so overwhelming that I didn't know how to respond. The conversation went nowhere, and even a heated argument led to no resolution. I looked at the solid gold necklace in my bag. It was something I bought with my first paycheck after graduation. I had seen my mother gaze at its display case in the mall over and over, but she couldn't bring herself to splurge on it. I had planned to surprise her with it today. But now, it seems unnecessary. Without hesitation, I grabbed it and rushed out of the house to return it at the store. The necklace was worth $15,800. After getting the refund, I walked into a pet shop and bought a ragdoll cat. I bought brand-name cat food and litter for the plushie, along with all the daily necessities. Apart from work, my daily routine is cooking for it and playing with it. Every month, I take it to the pet hospital for regular baths and health checkups. My mom shook her head when she saw it. You've brought home an ancestor. How much money are you spending on this? I hugged the fluffy little treasure, raising my eyebrows proudly. This is my son, of course I'll take good care of him. My mom wasn't home, so she asked me to cook for my younger brother. I said I didn't have time. When she came back, my brother was eating instant noodles. I'm making salmon balls for the cat. And you call this being busy? I lowered my head, focusing on cutting the fish. Every mother loves her own child. If I take good care of yours, what happens if mine goes hungry? She stared at me, speechless with anger for a long moment, but she forgot. My brother is only 1 year younger than me. We're both adults. Why can't he cook for himself? According to Mom, boys are clumsy and can't handle household chores, so I have to serve him. Why is that fair? On Mom's birthday, my brother bought her a pair of shoes online for $39 with free shipping. She was overjoyed, saying her son had finally grown up and learned to care for his mother. However, when trying it on, it was a full 2 sizes too big. She smiled awkwardly. Boys are careless. It's normal they don't understand. That's why they say daughters are the warmest little jackets. Right, as she spoke, her eyes glanced at me, hinting at my gift. I smiled sweetly and took out a replica necklace from the exquisitely wrapped gift box. It's the same style as that designer brand Mom had her eye on, only, this one is made of stainless steel. Her face darkened. This is what you're giving me, I said with genuine sincerity. Yeah, bought it at the Iwu small commodities market for $39.9 more expensive than Song Jiahao's shoes. Mom, I've been thinking about what you said these past few days, and you're right, when we were kids. You always bought the same snacks for me and my brother, treating us equally, so now, the gifts I give should also be on par with his, and besides, daughters are indeed more considerate than sons. The length of the necklace can be adjusted, so there won't be any sizing issues. I said it with a cheeky grin, sounding sweet and innocent, which made her turn green with anger, though she couldn't exactly lash out. You're already working. How can you compare yourself to your brother? He's still in college. She suppressed her anger. Tell me honestly, how much do you earn now? I answered truthfully, 18,000 a month. But it all goes to the cat. Mom, I finally understand your struggles now. Raising a son is really expensive. Last week, it wasn't feeling well, and just a CT scan at the hospital plus some medicine cost over 10,000 in the blink of an eye. I patted the cat's tail, mimicking the way new mothers complain about their money-draining babies. Grumbling sweetly and happily, what? She jumped up from the couch, her eyes nearly bleeding with anger. Our family is already struggling, and you're spending so much on an animal. Your dad, and I still have millions in mortgage to pay. Do you even realize that? I wondered in my heart, weren't all 3 properties bought for Song Jiahao paid in full? How did you end up with a mortgage again? As soon as the words left my mouth, I instantly realized, they must have bought a 4th one. She knew she had slipped up and fell silent, feeling somewhat guilty. After a moment of silence, she sat down and began to explain. When we bought this place, we originally intended it for you, but then we thought, what if you marry someone from another city? The house couldn't just follow you there. We figured that since your salary isn't low now, it'd be better if you helped the family pay off the loan for this place first. Then, when you're ready to get married, we'll buy you another one. Wow, what a grand promise. They want me to help pay off a loan worth millions, yet dangle the vague promise of buying me a house someday. If that's the case, why can't I just save the money and buy my own place? Young people these days really have it rough. Bosses feed them empty promises at work. Experts feed them empty promises online, and as daughters, they come home only to be fed empty promises by their own families. Unfortunately, after being deceived time and time again, trust eventually runs out. So whose name is it under this time? I sneered, glancing at Song Jiahao, who was engrossed in his game. Your son's again, isn't it? She exploded again. What do you mean, your son? Isn't he your own brother? We had him so you'd have company in this world, to give you family ties. When we're gone, he'll be your only family left. If he does well, you'll have standing in your in-laws' home too. Your siblings, shouldn't you support each other? Why make it about you versus him? You put in the money, and when the new house is being renovated, we'll save a room for you too. If you ever come back to your parents' home in the future, I believe Jiahao won't kick you out. Holding the cat, I lazily yawned. To keep a room for a few days a year, I'd have to spend all my salary for the next few years, but a night at a 7-star hotel only costs a few thousand. Such an expensive house is beyond my means. Before she could speak, I continued cheerfully, Mom, I think what you said last time makes a lot of sense. I'm a girl, so there's no need to care about having a house or not. So, I'd rather use my salary to raise my son. Son, you really treat this animal as your son. You gave your own mother a fake gift for her birthday. Yet you spend over 10,000 a month on an animal. Do you even have a conscience? She was completely furious, her voice rising several octaves. Yeah, I can't bear to spend over 10,000 on a necklace for you, but I can spend that much on a cat. It's not the lack that troubles people, but the inequality. You finally get to taste the bitterness of favoritism, without anger or annoyance. I put on an innocent face. You care about your son and gave him 4 properties. I care about my son and spend 18,000 a month on him. What's wrong with that? Mom, don't be mad. Even though I gave the money to the cat, I gave all my love to you. She exploded with rage. Get out of here. At midnight, I was kicked out of the house. I turned around and checked into the Shangri-La, spending over 1,000 for one night's stay. The receptionist was gentle and thoughtful, helping me settle my cat and even bringing me a late-night snack. I enjoyed a lovely bath and savored some creamy watermelon, truly feeling that money is best spent on worthwhile things. The next day happened to be a weekend, so I looked around the neighborhood near the company and rented an apartment. It had 1 bedroom, a living room, and a large balcony, fully furnished, with rent just $2,000. The landlady was as enthusiastic as if welcoming a god of wealth, happily helping me move in and clean up. If I were living at home right now and gave these 2,000 to my mom to pay off her loan, she would only blame me for giving too little. Indeed, in some places, money can buy services and emotional value, while in others, no matter how much you spend, all you get is insatiable demands and endless frustration. From then on, I started living a cozy life with my cat, plenty of money and good looks. It couldn't be more satisfying. Half a month later, I got a call from home. My mom was hospitalized. She wore the shoes her younger brother bought for her to go square dancing, ended up spraining her ankle and fracturing it, and now needs steel pins inserted, requiring at least half a month of care. Dad is away on business and can't return, while mom is reluctant to spend money on a caregiver, hoping I can take care of her, but the project I'm responsible for is on a tight deadline, with overtime every day, making it impossible for me to take so many days off. Meanwhile, Song Jiahao is at home during summer vacation, playing video games day and night, with nothing else to do. To this, Mom said, Jiahao made plans with his classmates to go out for an event. He doesn't have time. Besides, how would a boy know how to take care of someone? Of course, a daughter is more considerate and attentive. At this, I laughed in frustration. Who's born knowing how to take care of others? I haven't even passed my probation yet. If I take 15 days off, what about my job? Her voice turned shrill. What kind of attitude is that? Your own mother is hospitalized, and you can't spare a few days. How can we ever count on you in the future? Work, work. You're so busy with work, yet we haven't seen you spend a single cent on the family. Why can't you understand your parents' struggles? After venting, she seemed to remember she still needed my help and softened her tone. Just talk to your boss. If you've built a good relationship with them, wouldn't they grant you leave for something as important as your mother's surgery? It's just that you don't know how to handle people. All right, I shouldn't have tried to reason with her using normal logic. With a sigh full of grievance, I spoke helplessly and guiltily. Mom, it's really not that I don't want to come take care of you. I wish I could fly to your side right now. But your dear grandson is also sick. He has FIP, feline infectious peritonitis, and he can't be left alone either. As mothers, my heart for my son is the same as yours for Song Jiahao. I'm sure you can understand me. Before she could explode, I hung up the phone. In the few seconds it took for the phone screen to go dark, my entire body felt like it was freezing over. So this is what cold-bloodedness feels like. Just now, I had so many things I wanted to explain and refute in my heart, but when it came to speaking, I couldn't say anything. I've only been working for 2 months. And if I take half a month off from a core technical position, my boss could make my vacation permanent tomorrow. She knew all about my situation, yet she didn't consider my circumstances at all. No amount of explanation would help. It wasn't that she didn't know, she just chose to turn a blind eye. By evening, Song Jiahao finally found the time to tear himself away from his singing and dancing party to make a phone call. Song Jiao. How could you just abandon mom alone at the hospital without even checking on her? Do you have no conscience? No job is more important than mom. You can always find another job, but you only have one mother. On the other end of the line, aside from his furious yelling, there were also the raucous singing and boisterous laughter of his classmates. It was quite the lively scene. I just got off work and was grocery shopping when I took the call. I sarcastically teased him. Oh. So you're doing 24-hour hospital duty. How hardworking of you, young Master Song. He didn't feel the slightest bit guilty. I can't help being out of town. Besides, don't you have a responsibility to take care of mom while she's hospitalized? Just because of the house issue, you're ignoring our parents now. How did you grow up? Didn't mom and dad raise you? Even if you're busy, couldn't you hire a caregiver for mom? You make so much every month, yet you can't spare a little money for this. Do you even have a conscience? As children, we can't always think about spending our parents' money. We should also contribute to the family. Mom and dad are burdened with millions in mortgage debt, working so hard every day, while you're out there living it up. How can you be so selfish? He went on and on over the phone, ranting non-stop. Such familiar rhetoric. When did my dear little brother secretly enroll in a dad lecture crash course, becoming so passionate about lecturing women? In that case, I cleared my throat and laid it out plainly for him. As far as I know, the first 3 properties under your name are all rented out, bringing in over 10,000 in monthly rent. That money isn't being used to pay off the mortgage. It's all sitting in your account, saved for your future marriage. Since you're so considerate of your parents, surely you wouldn't begrudge a little nursing fee, would you? See, they could have used the rent to pay off the mortgage, but for their son's sake, they insisted on shouldering the debt themselves. My parents want me to understand their hardships, to feel for them, but some hardships, they practically went out of their way to invite them. Misery flows to those who love to suffer. If you enjoy it, go ahead and feast on it. I want no part of it. While talking, I pushed the cart to the fresh food section and happened to come across a free sample of pistachio cake. I took a big bite, so sweet and absolutely delicious. Song Jiahao got even angrier at my retort. Stop comparing yourself to me all the time. I'm the son, and I'll be the one responsible for our parents' retirement. Of course, it's different for you. Once you get married, you'll be an outsider. How could they possibly leave the property to you? That would just be giving it away to an outsider, wouldn't it? Not like we expected much from you anyway. Just send 7 or 8,000 a month for their living expenses, and come back to take care of them when they're sick. The main responsibility for their retirement will still fall on me. He spoke with such self-righteousness, as if it all made perfect sense. I almost laughed out loud at what I was hearing. This sounds like the ramblings of an idiot. I'm so glad I didn't put it on speakerphone right now. If the normal people around me realized I was talking to a moron, how embarrassing would that be? Hey, are you listening? Song Jiao Jiao. I held the phone away from my ear like it was contaminated. The wind's too loud. I can't hear your barking. At 8 p.m., Mom posted a photo of herself in a hospital gown on her social media with the caption, "Being hospitalized alone, watching other daughters by their mothers' sides, so heartwarming." Within less than half an hour of posting, there were already 7 or 8 comments asking about her condition. As expected, I was bombarded with calls from a bunch of relatives. Auntie took the lead, sternly demanding justice on her sister's behalf. Jiao Jiao, there's a limit to throwing tantrums. No parent is ever truly wrong. How can you just abandon your mom like this, no matter how much your brother has done? Your duties as a daughter shouldn't be neglected in the slightest. Parents have their own difficulties. You'll understand when you reach my age. Don't even mention just half a month. Even if you had to take care of her for a few years, it's only right. Don't talk about how tired you are from work. How busy or exhausting can a job staring at a computer be? You young people have it too easy these days. You just can't handle hardship. I nodded deeply, tears streaming down my face, overwhelmed with regret. Auntie, you have no idea how worried I am about my mom. But I'm so heartbroken I've come down with a fever. I'm utterly miserable and can't even get out of bed. Song Jiahao won't even let me go home, saying I'll just be a daughter married off like spilled water. Wah, you're absolutely right, Auntie. She's my mom, and your only sister. We can't just abandon her. So, could you help take care of her for a couple of days? Cough, I'd love to pay you, but I know you'd never accept money. Since you're the one who understands our family's struggles the most. Hello, Auntie, why'd you hang up? Sigh, can't even take a joke. I idly put away my phone and lay down to play with the cat. When it comes to nosy relatives, my strategy is to talk nonsense and turn the tables on them. It's so easy to boss people around with words, but when it comes to making them actually contribute, they all run faster than anyone else. A month later, my job finally became permanent. A 20% salary increase, plus some annual leave benefits. During this month, I didn't go home, nor did I visit the hospital. According to social media updates, my mother had already been discharged from the hospital and was doing just fine. As for my life, it wasn't really affected, unless you count her crying about my unfilial behavior in front of relatives and neighbors. After this incident, my reputation as a selfish, cold-blooded person who disregards family ties has spread far and wide. But really, these people can neither help me get promoted nor bring me valuable resources. Why should I bind myself to their approval? In life, the most important thing is to be happy. I drew back the curtains, and before me stretched the vast river and the moon just beginning to rise. I cooked a steak, opened champagne, and celebrated my probation to permanent transition on the balcony. The ambient lights flickered. The cat beside me quietly squinted its eyes, purring non-stop, raised a glass. Toasting to my solitary self. So good. The peaceful days passed like this until half a year later, when Dad called and asked me to come back. The new year is just around the corner. Who doesn't go home for the holidays? Your mom was just angry at the time. Come back, Mom chimed in from the side. Jiao Jiao, how can a mother and daughter hold grudges overnight? Even if you're still mad at me, you should come back for the New Year's Eve dinner. You can't hit someone who smiles at you. Since they were extending an olive branch, I naturally didn't hold back either. Mom, Dad, I've missed you so much. I'll bring your precious grandson back to see you right away. No one at the dinner table brought up the incident of kicking me out of the house earlier, nor did they mention how both Song Jiahao and I disappeared when Mom was hospitalized. Dad kept putting food on my plate. Here, have more lobster. Your brother loves this the most. If you don't eat it, he'll finish it all later. But I'm allergic to lobster. In reality, not a single dish on the table was something I actually liked. I'm so angry, but I still have to maintain an elegant smile. I knew Daddy loves me the most, pleased with this family reunion scene. He had a few drinks and started boasting, "Don't worry. In a few years when my business makes money, I'll buy you a luxury flat in the city center, worth 4 of your brother's apartments. A family must stay united and work as one. That's how our household will prosper." I nodded repeatedly, moved to tears. Yes, yes, thank you, Daddy, and don't you worry. In a few years when your daughter gets promoted to executive and joins the wealthy elite, I'll take you on a private yacht to Hawaii. Isn't it just boasting? When it comes to making empty promises, I've surpassed my master. Why wait for the future? You can start being filial to your parents right now. You've been out of school for over half a year. How much have you saved? Just as the father and daughter were getting carried away with their grand talk, Mom had to rain on their parade. Pfft, my measly salary can't compare to my little brother's rental income, right? So, landlord, what are you planning to do for Mom and Dad? I batted my eyes at Song Jiahao. Mom looked somewhat awkward, about to start that old, boys are careless, routine again. Dad frowned. All right, it's the new year. Shouldn't we elders be giving the younger ones red envelopes? And so, on this New Year's Eve, I received a whopping $100. After all, I spent 80 on cigarettes for the trip back. Of course I had to take it, in the first month of the lunar year. Song Jiahao brought his girlfriend home. The family called me back for a gathering. Mom asked me to buy his future daughter-in-law a Chow Tai Fook jewel or some La Mer as a meeting gift. I spread my hands. No money, so Mom took her into my room. After all, your sister has more than one bag. Just pick one. Since I moved out early, the ones in my room were all bought right after graduation. Small CK, Coach, nothing of much value. The girl's eyes darted around and finally landed on me. She wanted the LV I was carrying. Song Jiahao jumped in to back up his girlfriend. It's just a bag, isn't it? If Lingling likes it, just give it to her. You came empty-handed for dinner, and we didn't say anything. Miss Lingling tugged weakly at his sleeve. Her eyes slightly reddened. Forget it, Jiahao, maybe your sister doesn't see me as family. I'll just let it go. What kind of trash did Song Jiahao bring home? Birds of a feather really do flock together. I smiled sweetly, eyes crinkling. Sorry, but people need dignity like trees need bark. Begging for handouts doesn't quite align with LV's brand philosophy. After saying that, I turned and left. A meal almost cost me my $20,000 bag. I can't afford that. That night, I came across a post on an app called Little Green Book. What should I do if my boyfriend's elder sister showed no courtesy during my first visit to his home? The post complained about how impolite this elder sister was and how poor her character was. To the extent that she was kicked out of the house by her parents. The poster's profile picture was exactly the same as Lingling, who added me on WeChat today. This girl probably forgot that big data automatically extracts contact lists and recommends her to people she might know. I found it quite amusing as I scrolled through her profile for a while. The previous post read, "My boyfriend owns 3 fully paid properties and 1 mortgaged property. Will I be entitled to any of them in the future?" The comments below advised her, the mortgaged property is just a way to exploit you for shared loan repayment, while the fully paid properties are his premarital assets and have nothing to do with you. If he truly loves you, he should notarize the transfer of 2 properties to you or sell and repurchase them after marriage. I was instantly speechless. This girl's ambitions clearly go way beyond just a Louis Vuitton bag. Flipping further back, it reads, "Is it better to marry an only child or someone from a family with siblings? The only child has a high annual salary but only owns 1 property. The younger brother from a sibling family owns 4 properties, but his monthly salary is only $5,000. However, his sister earns a high salary and will definitely be able to support us in the future. How should I choose?" I was both amused and exasperated. She had already factored my salary into her future assets. This girl certainly has guts. After meeting the parents, Lingling officially moved into my parents' home to start preparing for pregnancy. At first, my mom was overjoyed to take care of her future daughter-in-law, doing her laundry, cooking for her, and buying whatever she wanted. She practically spoon-fed her, but it wasn't long before she called to complain that the girl did nothing at all, not even washing her own clothes. Just lying in bed playing with her phone all day, with meals having to be brought to her bedside. Moreover, now that the two families are discussing marriage, the girl's family has demanded a bride price of $600,000, because her family also has a younger brother who will need this money to buy a house in the future. My mother tried to negotiate with her, explaining that the family simply doesn't have that much cash flow due to mortgage payments for their own house, and asked if they could reduce the amount. She rolled her eyes. Isn't your elder sister earning a high salary? If all else fails, just marry her off. Won't that solve the money problem? On the other end of the line, my mom grumbled and complained, while subtly probing to find out how much savings I had. Helping your brother is helping your parents. We never treated you poorly before. Consider it lightening our burden. You should at least contribute something. There she went again. Lately, she'd taken on odd jobs in the neighborhood, so busy at noon that she often skipped meals. She kept sending me photos of instant noodles, trying to prove just how hard her life was, but this suffering isn't because of me. As for Lingling's character, I don't believe she can't see it clearly. She just chooses to indulge her son. See, she complains while giving endlessly. You want to save her, but she only wants to drag you down into the mire with her, to selflessly sacrifice for her son together. A mother pities her son, willingly letting him and his wife drain her dry, while a daughter pities her mother and spends money and effort to ease her burden, indirectly subsidizing her brother's family. This distorted form of support is a reflection of how many families operate today. If I weren't so ruthless, I might have ended up as Lingling's fuel too, but in reality, Lingling turned out to be even more shameless than I had imagined. Seeing no movement for so many days, she took the initiative to approach me. Sister, our parents raised us with great difficulty. Even just to ease their worries a little, as daughters, we should be more considerate. I stared at the screen, desperately wanting to laugh. With a few taps, I replied, oh, how considerate of you, selling yourself for $600K to get your brother a wife, or is it dating two guys at once, torn between an only child and a sibling household? The typing status on the other end suddenly vanished. After a while, she called me, her voice choked with tears. Sis, I didn't mean it, that's not what I meant. Please don't tell Jiahao, I'm just doing this for my parents. They've suffered so much. I have 3 younger sisters and a brother still in school. You don't need to explain these things to me. As long as you don't set your sights on me, I can't be bothered to care. But if you dare to pick on me again, not only can I let Song Jiahao know, but I can also make you famous far and wide. After saying that, I hung up the phone, not bothering with her anymore. Before the issue between Song Jiahao and Lingling could be resolved, a new crisis arose at home. The client dad was working with ran off. The final payment hasn't been settled. Over $1 million in funds are all weighing on him. Mom cried to me, Jiao Jiao, how much can you come up with now? You must save your dad. Compared to her hysteria, although I was surprised when I heard the news, I remained much calmer. Is over $1 million really an unaffordable amount for them? The house can be sold or mortgaged, not to mention the substantial rental income and savings from Song Jiahao. If I'm not mistaken, he doesn't want to lose a single property or part with even a penny. I spoke calmly. Mom, I've only been working for a year. You can easily guess how much savings I have. What difference would it make even if I gave it all? You've already thought of the real solution. You just don't want to inconvenience your son. Spoiling a child is like killing them, precisely because they gave everything to their son. He naturally assumed all of it was his property. Jiao Jiao, Mom knows you're angry, but some things are more urgent than others. If your dad gets a criminal record, it'll affect you too. She kept sobbing and rambling on. I took a deep breath, suppressing my emotions. If you really want to save Dad, you should be saying this to Song Jiahao. Your daughter works in a private company. No one checks 3 generations of family history. On the other hand, your son is preparing for civil service exams. He's the one who should be worried about this. But Song Jiahao was even more outrageous than I had imagined, showing no regard for the consequences. He stubbornly refused to compromise. And the result of the delay was that his parents couldn't repay the loan, leading to default. And the 4th property had already been repossessed by the bank. his Lingling was also threatening to break up with him. He lost his temper at home, had a big fight with his father, and called him useless. Dad finally got angry too and told him, the actual investors for the remaining 3 properties are your parents, and we can take them back anytime. Only then did he agree to sell one of them, but selling a house isn't that quick, especially since prices are falling now. And potential buyers are all waiting to see. Mom came to me again for a solution. I thought about it. I can buy it. What did you say? You can discuss which set to sell to me, I added. Also, I want to separate the household registration. Better to get the household registration sorted out early to avoid future disputes. With my savings, talent subsidies, and the home purchase subsidy policy for college graduates combined, coming up with a down payment isn't a problem, in the end. They discussed selling me an old second-hand apartment. Of course, they couldn't resist asking for an exorbitant price, far above the market rate. I waved my hand dismissively. You can list it on the platform. Highest bidder wins. It's been on the market for half a month, but no one has shown any interest. In the end, I bought this 100 square meter old apartment. My parents received the payment and cleared their debts. Song Jiahao lost 2 properties, but fortunately, he still has 2 left. Miss Lingling initially wanted to run away, but seeing how quickly her family overcame the crisis and having no better options at the moment, she ultimately stayed. Later, somehow, her parents managed to scrape together a dowry of $600,000, forcing them to get married. Not long after the wedding, Lingling became pregnant. She kept insisting that their child would need a good school district in the future, pressuring Song Jiahao to sell those 2 properties and buy a bigger one instead. Song Jiahao obeyed her every word, naturally doing as she said. Mom keeps complaining to me every now and then, saying this daughter-in-law is quite a handful. I know full well I can't save her. The investors are Mom and Dad. How could they possibly have no way out? It's all their own choice. However, Lingling's well-laid plans didn't pan out. The pre-sale property she had her eye on ended up as an unfinished construction project, with 2 properties and the family's savings gone. The losses were devastating, but at the same time, the old, dilapidated yet spacious apartment I had bought from my parents was demolished for redevelopment. I suppose you could say I won this bet. I know that whether it's my parents or Song Jiahao, they all think that selling the house to me is me taking advantage, even if it's above market price. They wouldn't sell me a new house, only this second-hand, dilapidated staircase apartment would they be willing to part with. And that's exactly what I wanted. I'm betting on the demolition payout. Based on the area, I received $2 million in compensation and a 90 square meter resettlement apartment. Song Jiahao came knocking. The demolition compensation belongs to the whole family. Are you trying to keep it all for yourself? I showed my separate household registration and property ownership certificate, then called the police to have him removed. My mother kept muttering about what a shame it was. How unwise it had been for me to separate my household registration back then. With such a large family, the compensation per capita could have been much higher, but I knew that if I hadn't separated my household registration, not only would the compensation not increase, but even my share would be taken away. The Song family lost their home and became homeless, with the couple arguing every day. Lingling didn't work, and Song Jiahao's income alone couldn't support the family. After Dad's business failed, he worked away from home to support them. Mom helped take care of their children and handled household chores, covering their living expenses. The whole family lived in chaos. Later, Mom came to test me again. The child will soon start school, and without a school placement, it won't do. Why not let your younger brother move back in? After all, you don't have your own children now, and this is your own nephew. I knew I couldn't persuade her. So I continued playing dumb. Sorry, Mom, who said I don't have my own child. I've always had my cat Son, your dear grand kitty. Meow. The cat also cooperatively meowed in response. My place is too small. It can only fit me and my son, not yours. But if one day you come to your senses and leave your son's house, I'll still make proper arrangements for you and Dad. I set aside a portion of my monthly salary into a separate card, saving it for my parents' future medical expenses and support. I had foreseen this long ago. Given Song Jiahao's character, whether he had financial means or not, he would never fulfill his filial obligations. But before they left Song Jiahao's family, I wouldn't give a single penny or buy anything. I won't be taken for a fool. Later, I often thought back to the day I went to the jewelry counter to buy the gold necklace. Perhaps the seeds of doubt had been planted even earlier, long before that day. During a dormitory tea party in college, there was the dorm leader who was an only child, and the eldest sister among 3 siblings. The dorm leader joked with a smile, "So how will your family's house be divided in the future? 33.33,333% for each person. How could that be? It's definitely going to the younger brother. Why would they give a share to daughters? Huh, but isn't this favoring sons over daughters?" Her casual remark hit right at my sore spot. What equal division? All the family properties belonged to my younger brother. Only an only child could be so naive, thinking that assets in a multi-child family would be divided equally. To this, my roommate explained, "Society is harsh on boys. Without a house, they can't get married. But girls will have a house once they marry. There's no other way." These words were exactly what my mother had said. Back then, I still wholeheartedly believed in this reasoning. See how similar mother's sophistry can be. As daughters, we were deceived without realizing it. Mom said again, "Society has higher expectations and greater pressure on boys. Having 2 extra properties is just a form of security. You're a girl, you'll have it much easier," I thought. If I hadn't returned the necklace that day but instead rushed to give it to Mom to please her, perhaps I would have fallen into the same absurdity as her, time and again, giving to seek approval, over and over, confirming whether they love us, only to suffer in endless doubt. How many girls in this world are trapped in such draining familial bonds, unable to sever them yet finding no relief? I recall a netizen I once met by chance. She majored in an obscure field and earned only a few $1,000s a month after graduation. Her mother often said, "Save on meals, times are tough at home." Every month, her living expenses were meticulously calculated, and whatever remained was sent back home. Her mother would count the days from the start to the end of each month, demanding money punctually on payday. She often complains to me, only to continue giving next month. At first, I would comfort her and encourage her to cut ties with her birth family, but later, I realized I couldn't save her. The true mark of an adult's maturity has never been just financial independence. Emotional weaning is far more important than the former. Those who truly love you won't constantly remind you how hard it was to raise you, won't cry to you about family financial struggles to make you feel guilty, as if every day of your education and every dollar you spend were sins. Someone who truly loves you won't keep making empty promises and breaking them, nor will they eagerly reach out to pluck the fruit when you've just graduated and haven't yet found your footing. Love and its absence are so clearly distinguishable. Love is a two-way journey. One-sided devotion is just foolish sacrifice. If fate dictates shallow familial bonds, there's no need to force them. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.